Hey, good morning, guys. Colorado Dave here, doing an interesting follow-up video on my two Chris Reeve knives that I had gotten back from the shop. I know some of you guys have seen my videos talking about these knives going in the shop and then me getting them back. I kind of wanted to do a follow-up after a few weeks of having the knives back in hand and letting you know any issues I've run into or haven't run into and how the knives are performing for me since they were in the shop. So I kind of wanted to take a few minutes and get into that with you guys. If you had a few minutes, please stick around and watch if you got any interest. But I know I've told you a little bit about what happened. When I first got them back, I felt great about both knives. I will tell you that's not necessarily the case anymore, as I have had a chance to put these in hand and play with them and take them apart and take a look at what's really going on. I still have some concerns with my Large Sebenza 31, to be honest. My small Sebenza, they basically totally rebuilt this knife. This knife has a new blade on it because it was supposed to be S45 VN, and they actually had put S35 VN on it by mistake. So they switched the blade out. They put the double lugs on there, which it had originally, so they put new double lugs on it. They put a new pivot bushing on it. They put new washers on it. They put a new back spacer on it. So really all you're looking at is the actual lanyard pin and the stop pin as far as the original parts and the scales. So they really rebuilt this knife. And this knife, because of it, I have no issues at all. This knife's in great shape, performing very, very well. I'm not having issues with the pivot pin coming loose, the screws, excuse me. I'm not having any issues with the stop pin coming loose. Everything seems to be doing what it's supposed to be doing, and I'm very content with it. The action is phenomenal on it. So this knife has been a blessing. Yes, it stinks it had to go into the shop, but you know what? They fixed it right. I'm very happy with it. It is an S45 VN blade steel on there now. I did sharpen it once. I just gave it its first sharpening a couple days ago, and I did it on my KME system. And I'm very, very happy with the edge. I will tell you the edge from the factory that came on this knife was not very good. I was very disappointed, to be honest with you. So I did go ahead and put my edge on there, and I am happy with it. I went a little bit, I didn't go too aggressive with it. I actually did it at around 18 as far as the angle on it, so it didn't take too much off. I probably want to bring it down to about 16, but I just wanted to start there. And I wanted to see how it came out. The mirror edge is real nice on it. It is definitely sharp and slicey. So I'm going to keep this edge on there for a little bit, but eventually I'll probably get a little bit thinner with it. But very, very, very happy with this. The new S45 VN to sharpen is definitely tougher. There's no question it did not feel the same as sharpening this knife here, which is S35 VN, which I also put my same edge on with my KME system. So, you know, it should have felt similar. This knife is really dirty right now. I just realized, sorry. I do use it. But this knife has a nice mirror edge on it as well that I had no problem putting the edge on. It was very, very easy to bring up the burr, etc. This knife was a lot harder. It was definitely, it did feel different. So the S45 definitely felt different from a sharpening standpoint. I will also tell you that when I'm like going through certain things, the actual steel feels different. And I think you guys can feel that in other knives too. For example, when I cut something with my LC200N Spyderco, it feels very different than if I cut something with S30V with the Spyderco. It has a very different feel to it. I kind of feel that way about these two steels right now as I'm starting to play with the two of them side by side. That the S35 VN versus the S45 VN, there is definitely a different feel in how it goes through paper, how it goes through cardboard. I will tell you that the actual S35 VN is smoother and it has more of a gracefulness to it, for lack of a better term. I will say when you get into cardboard and heavier duty stuff, I think is when you can really see where the S45 VN is going to be nice. But as far as just cutting paper and stuff, I'd rather have the S35 VN, to be honest with you, from the little bit of it, tested it so far. I do want to cut some rope and do some different things with it to really get a better feel for it, which I haven't done yet, but I will, and I'll definitely share it with you guys as I learn more myself. But so far out of the gun, I would say if you got S35 VN, be happy with it. The S45 is not overly exciting to me, not as of yet. I do see a little bit better edge retention. I'm stropping it less, but that's about it, you know. Like I said, it is definitely a little bit harder to sharpen from my experience so far. But again, I've only sharpened it once and haven't gotten into the steel that much yet. But anyway, getting back to these two knives, again, as much as anything, I did want to do a full follow-up on the feeling after having these knives back for about a month or 3 weeks or whatever it's been that I've had these knives back. You know, am I happy? Am I happy with the work that was done on them? When it comes to the small Sebenza, absolutely 100%. I'm very satisfied with what they did to fix it. They definitely made it right. I'm happy with it. The only negative I would say is if you can see the cloth that I have down here, they still haven't gotten the cloth right. I sent mine in with my brand new claws that I got my knives in, and they sent them back with some different claws that aren't as nice. So I'm hoping they're gonna get the microfiber claws correct, as I did call them again. They did say they were gonna send out the proper ones. I've still yet to see them. Not something super important, but just a little disappointing considering that these knives had to go in to begin with. But anyway, that is what it is. Let's talk about the large one now. The large one I am not satisfied with, and I'm actually very disappointed. And I'm disappointed because I'm not sure what the heck they did to this knife, if they did anything to this knife when they took it into the shop. I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but I did read it online to you guys in one of my other videos. And what came back to me from the Chris Reeves factory after they had gone through this knife and tried to fix this knife is an explanation saying that yes, we resolved the problem. We know what the problem is. It was caused by a previous employee, but the problem is resolved, period. That doesn't tell me anything. What problem was solved? What did you fix? As far as parts that were ordered, there were no parts that were ordered for this knife to make it right. So I'm assuming all they did was sand down a bush, you know, like a pivot or a bushing or something. I mean, I don't know what else they did to it, you know, because bottom line, I have the same performance I had when I gave him the knife 2 months earlier. So I was without this knife for 2 months, and to be honest with you, I'm getting the exact same action that I had before. And so, no, I am not happy about it. I'm not happy about it at all. Yeah, the action feels great. But you know what? I got the exact same problem I had to begin with. I cannot screw the pivot down all the way. If I screw the pivot down all the way, the knife won't come out. It's too tight. That's what I sent it in for. The other issue I have is I put Loctite on this, which you're not supposed to do from what I understand, but I have to. Otherwise, it will come unscrewed. I also have to put Loctite on the stop pin. So I'm stuck putting Loctite on both of these, and the reason is because I can't screw down my pivot screw all the way. So why did they not replace that pivot bushing to begin with? Or why did they not replace the stop pin? There's obviously some kind of issue going on there. So I'm very, very discouraged because now my knife's going to go in yet again. I'm probably going to be without it yet again for almost 2 months. This knife has been in the shop more than it's been in my hand since I've owned it in January. So yes, it's time for me to say it's okay for me to complain about this. I've had 2 Sebenzas now. Both of them have been in the shop. One of them came back okay. The other one did not. It's going back in the shop for a second time. So basically, I've had to have my knives go in the shop 3 times for 2 knives that I've owned only since the beginning of this year. And this is supposed to be the premium knife company in the United States. Yes, I do have every right to say that. I've been put through a lot with these knives already. I'm still a believer. I have a lot of videos out there saying how great Chris Reeves is. I took 3/4 of my collection and sold it off so that I could commit myself more to a better product and possibly get another Chris Reeve, which I actually have one on order as we speak. I do have another one coming, which I'm going to surprise you guys with because I'm supposed to actually get it here today. So I've shown 100% support to Chris Reeve knives. But I got to be honest, with this Large Sebenza 31, no, I'm not happy. And I shouldn't be. Because guess what? I'm going to be calling them here later this morning when they open up, and I'm going to be having to send this back into the shop yet again to get them to try to get it right and to try to understand why they didn't fix it right the first time. Because they ordered no parts for this. They just said, oh yeah, we fixed the issue. We know it was from a previous employee. Gave me no information on what they actually did to fix it. 0. So, very, very disappointed in that knife. This knife here, they walked me through every step of the way on what they needed to do to fix it. They took care of it. They fixed it. I think because they felt bad because it had the wrong blade steel on it, I think they went out of their way maybe a little bit more. And they made this one right. There's no question about it. But they did not make my large right. And I want you guys to be aware of it because I'm going to be calling them today because I'm going to be basically setting up to send it back into them yet again, and I'll be without this knife yet again. And hopefully they're going to be able to turn it quick, but we'll see what happens. So that is what's going on with the large. Large I am not 100% satisfied with because I am still having issues with that pivot screw not being able to be screwed down all the way and being able to open the knife properly. So also, when I first got this back, I flipped it for like the first couple days. I'm not flicking it because I don't do that, but just from opening it, opening it with my thumb, slow opening it like this. Just doing that maybe 30, 40 times, maybe 50 times, this screw immediately popped right out, which was the other issue I had when I sent the knife in. So needless to say, I don't know what they did to this knife, if anything. So I'm very, very disappointed in this knife and what they did or did not do. The only thing they did do on it that I know of is they put double lugs on there that I had requested. And they did put the double lugs on. But as far as fixing the actual problem, no, I'm not impressed. Not at all. So this will be going back in. Like I said, I'm going to be calling them today, filling out whatever forms I need to get it sent back into them to get it right. But a little disappointing, guys. Again, I've had it since January. It's been in the shop already over 2 months. Now I'm getting ready to send it back to the shop. So a little bit disappointing. I did want to share that with you so you guys do see the progress on it and you do understand what's going on. But I will tell you they're capable of making it right because this knife is awesome. And this knife is definitely right, and there is no issues. And I'm very content with the work they did on fixing it. So I'm rambling at this point. Probably letting a little frustration out. Hopefully you guys can let it go. Don't beat up on me too much, Chris Reeve fans, because I am a fan still. I've shown 100% support to these guys through some trying times with these knives. And I'm continuing to show support. So please hear that. I'm not giving up on these guys. Like I said, I got another knife literally getting delivered to me today, which I don't want to tell you what it is till I get it delivered and I unbox it here with you guys. But trust me, it's another nice Chris Reeve knife. So I'm still a fanboy. I just want to get things right. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Signing off.